If you often find yourself wanting to create the same kind of tmux setup, say you always want the same layout when you're working on a project, tmux scripting can be a really powerful tool. You already know that we can use tmux from the command line in order to create panes, organize windows, things like that. Now we're going to put that together into a script. So I'm going to create a file called tmuxlaunch.sh, and then I'm going to make it executable. Now that we've done that, let's edit it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a variable called session. And this is going to be what we name our session, and we'll need to refer to it later, so this lets us change our mind later on if we want. And to start with, I'm going to create a new session by running tmux new session -d, so we start in detached mode so that the rest of the script can run, and then -s, and we'll name the session, and this is where we'll use the variable we created above. Next, let's create a new window within our session. And we're going to do that by typing tmux new-window. Now we use -t, and we're going to do $session and then 1, because this is going to be our window number 1. And then -n, we're going to give it a name. I'm going to call this web server. This is the window that we're going to use to keep a web server running while we develop a project. And before I forget, let's just put that in some quotes. All right, let's test this to make sure it's working as I expect. So I'm going to run sh and then tmux launch. And now if I type tmux ls, you can see that we have a session named dev running with tmux. Now I can attach to that by running tmux attach -t and then the name of the session, which is dev. And you can see we've got our two windows here just like we expect, one for bash and one that's called web server because we named it in our script. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to open tmux launch again. And the next thing I want to do is I want to configure this window a little bit. So we're going to do tmux and then select window. And we're going to set the target to be the first window in our session. So again, session:1. And now our subcommands will affect this window. So I can do tmux and then split-window. And let's say we want a horizontal split, so I'll do -h. And now remember, we're working in this to-do MVC project. So let's say I want to launch the web server in one of the examples. So I'm going to do tmux and then send keys to send these commands to the tmux window we've selected. And then I'm going to type cd examples/react and then python-m simple http server. And then, and here's the important part, I have to end this with a capital C-M, which will send the enter keystroke. And then finally, another useful thing that we're going to want to do is actually attach to the session. So we'll do tmux attach -t and then the session name. All right, let's give this a try. I'm going to quit out of Vim. I'm going to look at my currently running tmux sessions and kill the one from when we were testing this before. So kill session -t dev. And now let's try our script. So I type tmux launch.sh. And as you can see, here we go. We're split into the to-do MVC directory, and then we also have the Python server running right there for us when we start up. Now, obviously, you can get really complicated with this and tune it as much as you need to suit your workflow. You can set up many different windows, you can start many different processes in the background depending on what you need for your development. Just remember that any amount of configuration you can do within tmux, you can usually do from the command line, and therefore you can script it too.